to another episode of News from the Gelding. Okay, bit of boogie at the beginning there. Might be a regular feature now because I like a bit of a boogie before getting down to business. So, right, today I'm going to do this kind of short writing exercise. If you want to cut straight to that and avoid all this babbling crap, then there's a timestamp down below and just, go over there. For everyone else, gluttons for punishment, let's do a little bit of news from the Gelding. News. So, I did intend to do a video last week, but I had yet another fucking migraine. Yay! So I wasn't able to do anything then or the next day, but I'm back on track, more or less. No idea why I'm getting them more regularly now. Perhaps the weather, or perhaps something horrible and sinister, but it probably isn't. Don't worry. I'm not. So, what else? Otherwise, I've been cracking on with the sequel to James of Galandar, Temple of the Cloven. It's going really well. I've only got one chapter left to write, the very last chapter, and I've already started doing the edit of the whole manuscript, so I'm about 10% through that. So it's all looking good for an August release, hopefully. The only other bit of news, I've been working on trying to solve the problem I've had with my previous ebook of James of Galandar. Now it's been on there on Amazon for almost a year now, but it has some problems, very small things, indents where there shouldn't be, and the images, the illustrations all appearing different sizes on certain, like on the look inside feature of Amazon, for example, which was really annoying because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I just want it to look right. So anyway, I went on lots of forums, did lots of experiments. Took me 6 days, but eventually I got there, just through sheer bloody grit and determination, and luck, a lot of luck. But anyway, it's there now. So I know how to finally format an ebook without problems. It's such a minefield, to be honest. I mean, there's so many different ways of doing it and so many things you can do wrong. It doesn't help that there are conflictions between certain programs, like mostly you use Word to export the document into various other things. Anyway, I might do another video if anyone wants to know definitively how to do it, because I think I know now, but I don't know. Maybe I don't. Okay, right, so today I thought I would do a little writing exercise using some of Rory's story cubes. Use that for the thumbnail later. These are Vanessa's from when she was teaching English at the English language school, and that was used for constructing simple stories to help with their English. But I thought it might be interesting to use them to create a short story here and now. So basically you have nine little dice, and each one has lots of 6 different symbols on them, random things, and you can interpret them as you wish. There's no particular meaning to them, you just need to go with your heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll these dice, and from those 9 images just write a very short story, perhaps 500 words in real time, and we'll see what happens. I think it's important occasionally to, whatever you're writing, just to go off on a tangent and try something else, just temporarily. Because if you're like me and you're doing a fairly long-winded epic fantasy, sometimes it's nice to have a little break and do something different. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let's roll these dice and see what happens. Okay, there we are. Right, so what I'm going to do is photograph these dice as they've fallen, or and show you all the symbols. So there's various different ways of approaching this, but what I'm going to do is the first 3 dice I pick are going to be the beginning of the story, the next 3 will be the middle, and then the last 3 will be the end. So I'm going to switch to the other screen and let's get down to business. See you in a bit. Okay, hello and welcome back. Right, I'm going to put the pictures of the dice up as we go, and let's see what happens. Aiming for around 500 words. Don't really know what it's going to be like, where it's going. Got the first 3 dice here, so let's get cracking. Okay, I think I'm going to be right. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Here we go. Time. Okay. Jimmy. Oh, this is awful. Turn on the light. How can you see the clock? Doesn't matter. Let's gloss over it. Floorboards were cold on his bare feet, but he didn't care. So that footprint is his foot going on the floor. Okay. He winced as the wooden boards creaked under his weight and waited for it. Waited. No. He winced as the wooden boards creaked under his weight. It was a mystery novel. It was a mystery novel called St. Bernard's, no, the mystery Mystery of Saint Bern. There we are. There's a book in itself. Right. This next three. Got a fish. We got a tree and a phone. Next bit. Oh, hell. I don't want it to do that. Okay, back. Stupid. Okay. This is awful. Tree and a fish. Crikey. Daddy was away in Borneo. Searching for a rare species of spider. Fish. Awful. What are you doing? This is a fucking awful story. Right, what have we got so far here? Jimmy looked up at the clock on his wall. It was already 10 p.m. and he was still nowhere near ready to sleep. His mother would give him merry hell if she heard him walking around his room, but there was nothing for it. Slipping out of bed, he turned on the light. The floorboards were cold on his bare feet, but he didn't care. He winced as the wooden boards creaked under his weight, but his mother hadn't yelled yet. Quietly, he padded over to his bookshelf and took down his favourite book. It was a mystery novel called The Mystery of St. Bernard's Beard. He had just hopped onto his bed and opened the book when there was a ringing from downstairs. The telephone was out in the hallway and seldom rang this late at night. Holding his breath, Jimmy listened to his mother pick up the phone. She started laughing and he knew then that it was his father on the end of the line. Daddy was away in Borneo, searching for a rare species of fish. Jimmy wasn't sure how fish could live in the jungles of Borneo, but assumed there must have been the odd stream or river winding its way through. That'll do. Okay. Next part. Was a flattened B. Sphere. Poor fellow. Why is it transparent? Okay, the question mark is to do with this strange thing, I suppose. This is going to get weird. What the hell's going to happen now? I've run out of doodads. No, let's go for the last one. So the question mark is going to be the last one. How the hell is this going to end? Right, let's nip it in the bud, quick. All of a sudden... Well, that'll do. Oh, it's got a bit weird there. Let's face it, it got weird. Shall I read it? Let's read it. I've already read that first, let's do it again. Okay. Jimmy looked up at the clock on his wall. It was already 10 p.m. and he was still nowhere near ready to sleep. His mother would give him merry hell if she heard him walking around his room, but there was nothing for it. Slipping out of bed, he turned on the light. The floorboards were cold on his bare feet, but he didn't care. He winced as the wooden boards creaked under his weight, but his mother hadn't yelled yet. Quietly, he padded over to his bookshelf and took down his favourite book. It was a mystery novel called The Mystery of St. Bernard's Beard. He had just hopped up onto his bed and opened the book when there was a ringing from downstairs. The telephone was out in the hallway and seldom rang this late at night. Holding his breath, Jimmy listened to his mother pick up the phone. She started laughing, and he knew then that it was his father on the other end of the line. Daddy was away in Borneo, searching for a rare species of fish. Jimmy wasn't sure how fish could live in the jungles of Borneo, but assumed there must have been the odd stream or river winding its way through. Looking back down at his book, Jimmy leafed his way through to the last page he had read. Suddenly he paused, his thumb resting on the page. Instead of his bookmark was a flattened bee. His first instinct was fear. He hated bees because he had once had the misfortune to have been stung on the nipple. But at the same time, they were very beautiful little creatures. Carefully, he picked up the flattened insect and held it up to the light. It was transparent. How strange, he thought. He had a sudden idea and hurried over to his bedside table, taking out the torch he always kept there for nighttime reading. With the flattened bee in one hand and the torch in the other, he shone the beam of light through the transparent bee and onto his wall, as you do. Downstairs, his mother laughed again. Daddy was funny, Jimmy thought absently, as the projected bee colours painted his wall. Just as he thought of his father, the projected image of the bee became a window. Jimmy gasped when he saw his father sitting in a strange room, a telephone pressed to his ear. It was daytime where Daddy was, and he could see the jungle through the window. All of a sudden, Daddy turned to look at him, and he let out a yell of fright. Quickly he rolled up a newspaper and swung it like a bat. The projected window disappeared in a sudden flash, and Jimmy jumped onto his bed in fright. "Whatever is the matter?" Jimmy heard his mother asking his father. "A bee?" she chuckled. His mother went quiet and then laughed out loud. "A bee that looked like Jimmy?" Okay, there we are. That's as random as you can get. This book will be available on Amazon for £5.90. Only joking. No, you can. Well, it's just a piece of. It's just a rubbish story. But anyway, it gets the creative juices flowing, and I recommend trying it yourself. Anyway, better end it there. Thanks for watching, and if all goes to plan, I'll be back next week, perhaps with another story. Who knows? Oh yeah, and cheerio.